let's jump to this story from NBC News. Okay. Ron DeSantis fires staffer who retweeted video with Nazi imagery.
Oh, God.
So, they say Nate Hockman, a communications staffer over the weekend, promoted and then deleted a video that superimposed a Sonnenrad over the candidate's face. I believe that's called the Black Sun. Yeah. So this video is super cringe. It's got Kate Bush playing in the background. It's one of those meme videos.
You're not calling her cringe, are you? Because
No.
Kate Bush is the shit. Okay.
It's a good song.
But the video, so it's this video where it's like Trump is
She's got an
cringe
irritating voice.
Hey, look who's talking.
I know that was a joke, fool.
Then how come no one laughed?
Because nobody gets me.
Hey, someone put a laugh track for Roseanne so she feels more at home.
I never use a laugh track.
Oh, live studio audience. I'm not scared of you anymore. I used to be really scared of her, but then I saw she's really sweet. Yeah,
So-
that's right. I ruined your secret.
But that's disturbing.
Well, so when I first heard this, someone like a pro-Trump kind of person was like, a DeSantis campaign staffer just retweeted this. I saw it. Phil, you retweeted it. You were like, this looks like intentional sabotage or something.
It looked like something that someone would do if they were looking to harm the Ron DeSantis campaign.
That's why
I don't know.
That's why I don't believe it. I'm like, certainly this is a Trump supporter trying to make it look like DeSantis did something wrong, but
Firing the guy was the right move, though.
Yes.
Yeah,
that was
I'd
probably
say
a
so.
good move.
They don't have the video on here, though.
I think that DeSantis' role in this movie is he's playing the heel for Trump. That's what I think.
Do you think they're
I
working
think it's all a movie, and it's all to, get people to actually have some awareness of what's right in front of their damn face and wake up to it. And, yeah, I think he's playing the heel because people that don't want to vote Democrat no more, they're going either independent or they're actually thinking, I'll go a little bit further.
Shoot.
And maybe I'll vote DeSantis, but then they're like, whoa, he's even more far right than Trump. So then they're going to look at Trump.
Should I play the video so people can see what we're talking
Yeah.
about?
yeah.
I want to point out, too, people said that whoever made it had something against me because the guy's wearing a beanie with the gray brim.
That's a Wojak.
I know it's a Wojak.
It doesn't let me.
I'm not going to play the audio because it's just Kate Bush, and I don't want to get
running
a
up
copyright.
that hill. I think it is.
Dear
a cover,
Republicans, your favorite president. It's basically he's like sad and smoking, and he's wearing a beanie, and Trump's waving an LGBT flag. I'll just jump through it. You don't need to watch the whole thing. Then it like shows DeSantis. Oh, you know what? I got to show the super cringe part when he appears in the door. Like, what is this? Look at him. And then he's like wearing now the Wojak is happy. And he's like, oh, look, it's Ron DeSantis spaceships and women in bikinis. Life is good.
This is so many levels of irony. It's hard to figure out if it's earnest or not.
That's why I'm like, I don't believe they actually made this because it's so cringe. But it's the end where the Nazis are marching towards the Sonnenrad with DeSantis in the middle, where I was like, okay, and there's no way this is from his campaign.
If you know what the imagery is, it's a very jarring to be like, oh, that's where you're going.
I got to be honest, I started laughing.
Yeah, I did too. I mean, it's hilarious.
I was like, what is this? The whole thing is ridiculous. Here we go. Look.
That started.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Whoa. The way you described it, I thought, like, it's in the background. The guy didn't notice it. It's holy crap.
No, it's like jarring.
It's spinning
Oh,
around.
my God.
Well, the gays do not like DeSantis over what's
Look at this,
happening with
just like
Disney
bang.
down there.
Holy
the
crap.
gays hate him,
And
and so they're doing this.
Yeah, but this was retweeted by his campaign staff. So when I
Actually on the staff, not just the supporter?
No, it was just look, this is the story.
what are you
Holy
thinking?
crap.
Fires staffer who tweeted video with Nazi imagery.
Did he?
I'm sorry. Even if that Nazi imagery wasn't there, you do not retweet this video because it makes DeSantis look like a tool.
Oh, this is the DeSantis campaign.
I don't understand how someone had this tweet, and you probably know who I'm referring to. I forgot the guy's name, and he goes like, 2020, DeSantis is the greatest governor in America. 2021, 2022, 2023, like DeSantis is terrible. Like it flipped on a dime.
Well, because he got remember what DeSantis took measurements against. I mean, he took measures against the LGBTQ plus community in Florida and Disney, and they didn't like that. And then remember, just like 2 weeks ago, Trump had the big pro-LGBTQ party at Mar-a-Lago.
DeSantis is attacking from the right.
But I'm surprised.
But
What I
the-
meant
but
is I'm
what-
surprised that how the Republicans all
Right.
flipped overnight to hating DeSantis. It was so weird.
And I'm not surprised for two reasons. The first attack against DeSantis was disloyalty. That Trump helped
which
him,
makes sense.
And
Yeah.
then DeSantis decides he's going to go to a bunch of big neocon donors, establishment Republican donors, to run against Trump. It's like, kicking Trump in the butt.
Yeah.
But then
And he did it because he wanted to go even more right, getting rid
Right.
of gay stuff, which a lot of parents think was the right thing to do. But then, he brings in Soros as a backer. So it's like,
I don't
wow,
think that's true.
That's not. He didn't bring
Yeah.
in Soros as a backer.
he
Yeah.
takes Soros money.
I don't think he does.
No, that's
Yeah,
a
I don't
complete.
think
That's
true.
that's complete. Not
I
true.
read that in 2 or 3 sources.
You just said 20 minutes ago that you don't believe all that stuff. That's not
well,
true.
I read it in 2 or 3
yeah,
sources.
it's not. It's complete. Like
Okay,
yeah.
so that might not be true.
No,
but
and they lied, claiming that Soros endorsed DeSantis, which is not true either. They've been trying to look.
I don't trust anything that I want to say this correctly, but anything that has to do with children's school books
Yes.
and being pro child pornography in the schools, I'm not for that. Okay, and I'm not for anything that George Soros is for.
Yes, amen.
But-
and we're
Right.
both saying this is Jewish people, by the way.
I'll tell you what this may be. Here's what I thought when the DeSantis supporters started zealously insulting me. Not
Did
all
they
of them.
really?
Oh, it's relentless. But it's not like I'm not. I get attacked by everybody on
Yeah,
Twitter,
yeah.
right? But they act very much like Antifa style leftists on
Yes,
Twitter.
they do.
Tweet in the very same way. And so at first I thought these people are trying to sink DeSantis by false flagging him. Pretend to be a DeSantis supporter. Like you see a lot of these accounts that pretend to be Democrats and say stupid things. People fall for it. And then it was DeSantis' own campaign staff that started insulting me.
Did they really? Like who?
I won't name
talk
it.
after, okay,
They're
yeah.
communications people, right?
Okay, I know them. Okay.
Yeah, they're miserable at their jobs, and so without naming, I don't want to get people dragged and then get them mobbed or
of course,
whatever.
yeah.
But there's a handful of high-profile conservative pundits who were pro DeSantis all last year, and now are outspoken against him because these staffers, supporters, and surrogates on Twitter are the most vile people. Not all of them, not every single one. Of course, there are a lot of good people. I have friends who are big, who
Some
work
very
for-
fine people.
very
some.
fine people. Some I think are very fine people. But even when I've defended DeSantis, I get attacked for it. And then I get these same people who have insulted me demanding that I cover their stories in defense of DeSantis, tweeting at me, and I'm just like, you people are despicable. So I'm just like, I'm not having it. You know that video, that LGBT video that was retweeted by the DeSantis War Room? That was made by the DeSantis campaign. They passed it off to a third party to make it seem like they didn't make it, but they did.
I'm
That's why I think it's COINTELPRO, the whole thing.
something.
DeSantis' campaign?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think he's playing the heel.
Something is not adding up because the biggest criticism of Trump from Trump supporters is he didn't deliver the goods. And in his defense, he lost the House. He only had like 50 senators to begin with,
Yeah.
and whatever. And the argument is, well, DeSantis did in Florida. The fact that he's like overnight become like a joke and like Jeb Bush, like I've never seen any politician's fortunes flip so quickly
Howard
in my
Dean, was that his
lifetime.
name?
I was just gonna say
But
Howard Dean.
But Howard Dean had a raw deal, right? And
Because Disney
we
took-
could point to something specific that's
And I can point to something specific with Ron DeSantis.
What?
I'm leading the great American comeback. That was his campaign announcement. That moment was like a bang. And all of a sudden people were like, wow.
I think you're right, though, Roseanne. Or at least you're saying
She's
something
always right.
interesting in that he went hard against Disney, which is like one of the most powerful
And
corporations
then he
on earth.
capitulated.
And then Disney never really said anything about it publicly.
Oh,
they
yes,
did.
they did.
Oh, yes, they did.
What's her name? Sunny Hoyson on The View.
Yeah.
She says she drives down the street in Florida screaming, gay, gay, gay out the window. Oh, yeah, they came hard.
Well, maybe she means she's a
hard for him.
homophobe.
And then
Disney came back. Disney came hard for him.
Yes.
And he capitulated. He didn't stand up against Disney at the very end. He totally capitulated.
at some
to
point they said Disney made a statement like we don't kind of want to bury the hatchet. We don't want to push this any harder. But
They
we're in
buried the
age-
hatchet by giving
his
Disney everything
they buried the hatchet in
wanted.
him.
interesting
Yeah, they
in his
did.
campaign.
Yeah,
but
his
we're in
back.
the age of psychological operations
Yes.
right now. So to think this, just to pretend like it's another year, another election year, it's like, no, dude, we have deepfakes, AI, and like
Yeah.
massive manipulation in the back end. So people could be twisting this guy's campaign.
In Brazil, I think it was Brazil, there was
Look at
some leaked audio, and they claimed this politician, I'm not sure if it was Brazil, claimed this politician said these offensive things, and it turns out that one of them was AI generated, one of them was not.
Right,
And this is exactly
exactly.
what I've been warning about, and this is exactly why I said when DeSantis' campaign created deep fake images of Trump and Fauci to smear Trump and then
Right.
labeled it real life Trump, I'm like, they just crossed a very, very dark line.
Yeah, they did.
And DeSantis, they still have the tweet up, as far as I know. They never said anything about it. They never fired anybody. They did nothing. He was fine with it. I think DeSantis, in terms of leadership in Florida, did a fantastic job. It's great. I think
That's the thing, right? Because like it seems like if you took off his name and you ask all these people who hate DeSantis, would you support a governor with this record of president? They trip over themselves. There's a disconnect here for me.
until you see his leadership.
Sure.
Until you see the mistakes made by the campaign, his failures to address them, and you get all these people who support him saying that policy matters more than charisma, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm like, dude, let me just say, I think he is the best politician in the country in terms of what a politician can be. In Florida, he did a great job. Ask yourself, after all of these great things, why his polls are sinking.
Well, people in Florida feel like he just walked out on him to go campaigning. They say he hadn't finished half of the stuff he was in the middle of, and he capitulates at the end. So, a lot of people in Florida are mad because he kind of just goes, hey, I did a great job here for 2 years, see ya. But, that's just the nature of politics in the United States. So you get a chance to raise. You have to get $1 billion to lose an election.
I'm
It's just so obscene.
I'm going to make 2 points about that. Here's the other thing that's really crazy. If you have any criticism of Joe Biden on social media, right away you're a Trump supporter, right?
Yeah.
If you have any criticism of Trump, you're a DeSantis supporter. If you have any criticism of DeSantis, you're MAGA. It's bizarre how binary it's gotten. I'm just going to make 2 points. One is the argument for DeSantis running now was Obama in 08, where Obama was supposed to wait his turn. It was supposed to be Hillary's nomination. Obama said, screw that. He got that and he became the White House. So there's a path there for DeSantis historically. The other is until Trump, the nominee for the Republican Party was always, for 40 years, the guy who lost the last time. Reagan lost in 76 against Gerald Ford. He was the nominee in 80. George W. Bush ran against Reagan in 80, became the nominee in 88. Bob Dole ran in 92. So the pattern, Mitt Romney lost against McCain, then he became nominee in 2012. Trump broke that pattern. So there's also room for running and losing. This is the Republican Party at works, and then being the nominee the next time.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.